Thing gives you high confidence that it originated in that Wuhan lab?
Martha, there's enormous evidence that that's where this began. We've said from the beginning that this was a virus that originated in Wuhan, China. We took a lot of grief for that from the outset, but I think the whole world can see now. Remember, China has a history of infecting the world, and they have a history of running substandard laboratories. These are not the first times that we've had a world exposed to viruses as a result of failures in a Chinese lab. And so while the intelligence community continues to do its work, they should continue to do that and verify so that we are certain. I can tell you that there is a significant amount of evidence that this came from that laboratory in Wuhan.
Do you believe it was man-made or genetically modified?
Look, the best experts so far seem to think it was man-made. I have no reason to disbelieve that at this point.
Your Office of the DNI says
top experts in the field say it was man-made, released from the lab. That's what it looked like day one when these videos leaked from China. You saw people in spacesuits like Fukushima. You saw them burying people alive in the buildings, locking down entire cities. They locked down the entire country. It looked like a science fiction movie. Of course it leaked out of the lab. Of course it was man-made. And now they're trying to push the narrative. You know, it went from the wet market to, oh, it was accidentally released from the lab. But everybody knows this thing was unleashed on purpose to kill as many people as it could. And they're going to be terrorizing the American public, the world, for years with their new terrorism. You know, the new invisible enemy. And they're activating locations. We've got the evidence of that. They're activating this virus. They let it in. They made sure everybody got infected. And now they can activate it, boost it, and cause a China syndrome anywhere they want to. Of course, it was released from the lab. They let this virus in. That's the worst part. They knew about this way back in November, if we can get the video guy.
Did the Pentagon receive an intelligence assessment on COVID in China last November from the National Center for Medical Intelligence of DIA?
Oh, I can't recall.
I can't recall what happened there. November? What the fuck, November? You know, they shut down air traffic at the end of January. But still, I mean, they let everything keep going on like nothing was going on until March, late March at that. And they knew in November that it was a major outbreak, some kind of freak virus, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, they just let this in. These people in government, they're monsters. Except Pompeo. Pompeo's cool, you know.
We're in a live exercise here to get this right. We're in a live exercise here.
But otherwise, you know, Fauci and the crew, I mean, hardcore shills, they're linked directly to this lab. They were funding this lab. It's their virus. It's a Democrat virus, a libtard virus, revenge for 2016. Remember how everybody was laughing at Hillary because she was coughing? Guess who's coughing now, bitches? You are. Guess who's dropping dead now? You are. You know, I mean, remember when she collapsed 9/11, 2016? Everybody thought she was dead. And now it's Hillary's revenge. Fauci, Hillary, Obama, and the communist Chinese crew. Let's not forget the communist sympathizers like Fakebook, ScrewTube, and network television. Bunch of sellouts, bunch of shills. You know, it's election year, ladies and gentlemen. And you think you have a choice, but what you got is like this little group of people giving you like two people to choose from, and it's a total scam. You know, this is fake government. That's what we got. We got fake government going on right now trying to kill everybody, trying to suspend your rights. This is going to be you before long. Pay attention to this video leaked. And, you know, this isn't in black and white. This is in living color. This is your destiny. Because you remain complacent. You let them gas you. You let them fluoridate you. You let them, you know, irradiate you with these death towers. Now they're unloading their virus onto you. And then they want to inject you with their vaccines. They want to chip you, jack you into the matrix. Quite literally, you've seen the Neuralink.
And when it got down to the plane is 10 miles out,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
the young man also said to the vice president, "Do the orders still stand?"
Of course, the orders still stand. You're going to get jacked into the matrix. Go ask Elon Musk. He's selling all his shit. He just wants to plug in. He doesn't need all that stuff. He's going to use it for digital currency in the matrix world that he's building for humanity. This transhuman agenda that will enslave us all. This is your future, ladies and gentlemen. And the life you used to know, it's gone. It's gone. And you might think you're going to get it back, that you can just go back to work. Oh, they're going to keep zapping you and activating you and, you know, dosing you with the virus. That's what these people are all about. It's on the Georgia Guidestones. It's all about the Agenda 21, Event 201. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the video guy doing? How's everybody doing out there? Say hi in the comments. Organize in your town. Ladies and gentlemen, stop the 5G. Stop the madness. Stop the Sodom and Gomorrah. Enough with the libtards out there. But these people are running some kind of scam. Where's this virus in your town? It's in New York because it's another 9/11. But it'll be coming to your town. They'll be activating in your town. People got busted with this virus. They were caught off guard. You know, the government was telling you everything's okay. You don't need a mask. Just wash your hands. And everybody got infected with this airborne bioweapon. And that's the big breaking news. I mean, we just got to go back to this here if we can. Wherever the video guy is.
Thing that gives you high confidence that it originated in that Wuhan lab.
Martha, there's enormous evidence that that's where this began. We've said from the beginning that this was a virus that originated in Wuhan, China. We took a lot of grief for that.
Enormous evidence.
From the outset, but I think the whole world can see now. Remember, China has a history of infecting the world, and they have a history of running substandard laboratories. These are not the first times that we've had a world exposed to viruses as a result of failures in a Chinese lab. And so while the intelligence community continues to do its work, they should continue to do that and verify so that we are certain. I can tell you that there is a significant amount of evidence that this came from that laboratory in Wuhan.
Do you believe it was man-made or genetically modified?
What kind of question is that? What do you think it's doing over there? This is a bioweapon level 4 laboratory. It's the only one of its kind in China, they say. It's top of, it's top shelf. What do you think they're doing with this virus? What kind of question is that? You don't think it's man-made or GMO, do you? Oh, yeah.
Look, the best experts so far seem to think it was man-made. I have no reason to disbelieve that at this point.
Your Office of the DNI says the...
Yeah, so there's no arguing that this was man-made. You have to wonder what the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, or ODNI, was thinking when they made that statement. They must have, got a call from Obama that was like, please do something. Because they just basically, destroyed their own credibility. I mean, nobody really understands what they were smoking before they put out a release like that, but it was very similar to like the Russians did it. The Russians are absolutely responsible for the election of Donald Trump, signed ODNI, 2016 or 2018. And, you just have to wonder about that. I mean, that's not actually an intelligence agency. It's just some kind of shill umbrella program. ODNI, what is it exactly? What do they do? We don't know, but they release, misinformation. And I think, people are better served, especially, when there's a Fukushima-like event, if we could be informed, like everybody else, as far as what's going on. Because right now, it looks like they knew back in November that this thing was erupting. And I think that this is a very important aspect to...
Did the Pentagon receive an intelligence assessment on COVID in China last November from the National Center for Medical Intelligence of DIA?
Oh, I can't recall.
He can't recall. So, did you get some kind of briefing in November about the outbreak in Wuhan? Oh, I can't recall that shit. I don't know. That seems irrelevant now. So, we know that this thing erupted like 3 or 4 months ago. They were talking amongst themselves, and it made it to the White House November, early December, around Thanksgiving. They were aware that there was a major situation going on in Wuhan, like Fukushima bad. And it was going to all the NATO countries. It was going to the White House. Everybody was aware. And, they could have come forward at that stage and said, people better prepare. Because a lockdown would have been inevitable. And at that stage, they could have saved a lot of lives. But that wasn't the plan. See, that would have been logical, get people equipment, lock everything down, or have some kind of like, semi-lockdown going on where people can't go beyond county lines or something. All around the world. I mean, it was that bad. It was obvious. But we didn't get that, which tells us that they had something else in mind. And in fact, we didn't get that for months after this thing was just blowing up. And they had spies on the ground. They got satellite. They're picking up all the, communications traffic, tapping into the phones, listening to people cough in real time. Some real Batman kind of, crazy ass technology. And still, they told no one anything. They were giving, secret briefings to senators. Senators were selling their stocks. They're like, oh, fuck. Are you kidding me? Sell it all. They fire sold everything in February, and still they didn't tell the public. Finally, in March, after really the real peak had hit, and everybody in the country had been infected, then they're like, yeah, we might have a bit of an issue. We'll just do this little lockdown. But, it was way off the mark. It was, way after everybody's been infected by this airborne AIDS. And it's a question of activation. They can selectively activate you through your telephone, through your cell phone, just like a radio detonated, device. Quite literally, you've become a human bioweapon, human biobomb, and all they got to do is push the button. So you've got to limit your exposure to the EMF, and the death towers can, basically activate an entire sector, a zip code, if you will. And so, we're looking at some very strong evidence here linking cell towers and cell phones to the activation of this virus. And that's a very real thing. We've covered that in previous broadcasts. The people out there, in San Francisco can bitch all they want and censor people all they want, but it's important to, get the real information out there. And, throughout this crisis, the socialist media platforms, the news networks and the like, they've all been telling people, fake information. Oh, you don't need to worry about it. It's just, just wash your hands. Everything will be cool. So, and even now, they're still like dragging their feet. You have to wonder why. Why is it always like the best case scenario, like, with them? Why can't it ever be real? That's the question. But you gotta love that video. But no, for them, it's always like, oh, it's the most innocent thing you could imagine. The terrorists did it or something like that. But everybody knows better. Everybody's seen the Operation Northwoods. Everybody knows about 9/11. With a track record like these people, here comes the virus. Who do you think, people are going to suspect? Obviously, Deagle.com knows what's going on. But look, it's rather logical that the New World Order unleashed this virus, infected everyone. They're now holding everyone hostage. They want you to know how fucked you are. And the only thing you can really do is just storm the capitals and take this country back. Otherwise, you're a pussy and you get what you deserve. I believe in being ruthlessly honest sometimes. It's just what I do. Do you have any questions out there? Do you not understand? I mean, since 9/11, you've seen them fluoridate you, vaccinate you, irradiate you, spray you like bugs, run Gladio-B events and try to take your guns, right? So everybody's on the same page here. The question is, how do we end the occupation? And all you got to do is pick a date for the Boogaloo. July 4th is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And that looks like an event. And I think people are warming up to it, to be quite honest with you. They're showing up at these state capitals right now.
Did the Pentagon receive an intelligence assessment on COVID in China last November?
Last November. And that was from the Defense Intelligence Agency. I mean, they had like a whole report already set up. They're like, whoa, you should see what's going on out there in Wuhan. And the people higher up, they're like, oh yeah, we know. We know it's our virus, bitches. Fauci was like, yeah, according to plan. They unleashed this bitch on Halloween. You imagine? Exactly what you would expect from these evildoers. And have no doubt, Pompeo has arrived to tell us all what's going on. Once again,
We're in a live exercise here to get this right.
and Trump's like, you should have let us know. What the fuck do you mean you should have let us know? This is your virus as well. They're all involved.
From the National Center for Medical Intelligence of DIA?
Oh, I can't recall.
Oh, the video guy's on vacation. Obviously, this came from a lab. And it's funny, 4 months later, 5 months later, here comes ABC. Oh, you don't think it came from a lab, do you? Oh, yeah, it definitely came from the fucking lab. Oh, it's not man-made, is it? Oh, yeah, it's definitely GMO, bitch. It's a Franken fucking virus. Doomsday virus meant to kill your ass. What do you think this is? Haven't you seen the body bags? They didn't even bother showing you half of these videos. Not even like a smidget of these videos. And, they're so dishonest. And then they're like, oh, this thing wasn't man-made, was it? Of course it was. This is Fauci's virus. What do you mean Fauci's virus? How do you know? Oh, well, he sent the bitch the money out there in China. That's how we know. To develop this exact virus. Not just one kind of like it. The exact one. Gain-of-function coronavirus at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Paid for by Anthony fucking Fauci. Right? And all his shill, New World Order gang members. And there's a long list of them. I mean, it is what it is. You got to check out the video archives. But there's a lot of criminals that should be arrested right now, but the FBI is corrupt. The Justice Department, is just like, doesn't even exist anymore, really. The whole federal government, this fake government, is just like beyond words, really. It needs to be dissolved. We need a restart, a reset. You know, all of these people in government, thank you for your service. Go home. Go find something else to do. Federal government has just fucked up the world, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. They can't even stop a virus that they know about 10 months, 4 months ahead of time, ahead of everybody else. They can't stop the virus. They can't let anybody know. All they can do is just fucking lock you down and take your rights away. If that's what these people are capable of, no thank you. No thank you. We don't want it. We don't need it. It's over. It's over. It's not even worth talking about. You saw the whole FISA thing. It's just so messed up. Federal government. No more federal government. It's nothing personal, right? You fucked up. You fucked up the whole world. Right? Now everybody's infected with this virus, your virus, and we should just lock down and just, take your vaccine and get the chip and, enjoy the death towers. Oh, fuck no. No. And the less 5-0 there is out there right now, the better, because there's a lot of fucking death towers. There's one like every 200 meters right now. And it's insane. That's all I can say. And if people don't agree with that, that's fine. I mean, you're free to go back to NBC and listen to the lies. They're like 10 months later, oh, it didn't come from the lab, did it? Oh, yeah, it so came from the lab, bitch. Oh, it's not man-made GMO. Oh, it's so, all the experts say it's man-made. What the fuck are you thinking? I mean, you didn't see the video? These people are so...
Did the Pentagon receive an intelligence assessment on COVID in China last November from the National Center for Medical Intelligence?
These people on television, they're so fake, except Pompeo for the most part. They're so fucking fake. Tired of them. And you don't even get a real choice during the elections. It's a rigged election. These people are not duly elected. Therefore, it is a fake government. They want to talk about fake news. What about fake government? These people are fake bitches. They're fakers. You know what I mean? And you saw this quite clearly in the last election, in the primaries. I mean, Hillary, she just, she bought and paid for her nomination. That came out in the emails. Then the emails disappeared. The FBI was gone. You know what I mean? And the story was fucking buried. Bravo. Bravo. And what's their revenge for being exposed? Here comes the fucking virus. And where's the FBI again? Oh, they're out there arresting doctors that are handing out vitamin C. No shit. And round we go. Round and round we go. It'll never end. The FCC, more death towers. The FDA, more fucking, more drugs. More crazy shit in the food. These people will never, ever get it right. So it's time for a reset. We don't need a federal government this big. It's time for a massive downsizing. You know what I mean? And we could save a lot of money that way. And we could probably save a lot of lives. And obviously, just having this mechanism in place is like the movie, Enemy of the State, and just about everything else you've seen like it. It's a nightmare waiting to happen. It's abusive. It has abusive power written all over it. No matter who's in there, nothing personal. And nobody wants to give up their toys, obviously. But they're not responsible enough to, to use them. They're just weaponized for political purposes. They're out there to get their enemies, to start wars, and to end civilization as we know it. It is beyond criminal. And it's just like everything else in this Luciferian, state, this beast system. It's all messed up. And it really needs to go back to, the 1950s to a certain extent. And, the only way we're going to do that is by bringing the Bible back into schools and, restoring our republic that way. There's a church in every town. That's who we are as a country. And, as soon as we started moving away from that, the whole thing, started to crumble as expected. Christians need a homeland, ladies and gentlemen, and deporting the libtards is pretty much the only way. Now, if you want to see how real this matrix is, this might sound a little extraordinary. Matrix, what are you talking about? This constructed reality. You look at the DNA, it's a programming language. Even the simplest form of life, blue-green algae, bacteria, it requires megabytes of information for it to exist. It didn't just randomly assemble in some kind of primordial soup. That's impossible. That's intelligent design. And to understand more about that, Genesis 1, chapter 1. But if, the Eden experiment, something like that. Probably getting ahead of ourselves. But if you really want to know how freaky this matrix is, go look up, the Gospels, King James Version audio, Matthew KJV audio on YouTube, and just start listening to it, right? Before you get halfway through one of the books of the Gospels, you're going to have all sorts of demons jump out of the matrix, like Agent Smith, and they'll be acting through people. They'll be doing everything they can to interrupt you, to stop you, to bother you. You'll see that it drives them wild. You'll see the matrix react. You'll see the glitches in the matrix. And when you start seeing that, you start understanding that you're not being gang-stalked by the government. You're being gang-stalked by the demons of this beast system. And it's much more profound than you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen. Any case, this is exactly what you would expect from the demonic. Unleash a virus. Lock down the countries. Suspend your rights. Require more paperwork. Require the mark of the beast. Cashless society. The works. It's coming. They're all in, ladies and gentlemen. And they've been exposed. And right now there's a big rift everywhere. There's a civil war everywhere. People, it's good versus evil everywhere. And we just got to do it. We just got to do it. We just got to say, hey, hasta la vista, baby. And just get it done. July 4th is a good day to start. We need to make the Republican and Democrat parties illegal. All elected officials arrested, questioned, see if they're communist sympathizers. Obviously, all federal government officials will be, let's just say, fired. We'll just see with benefits or not. I guess that's another story. But fired, gone, dissolved, no more. And I think, we should just transfer those, those powers back to the state, like the 10th Amendment pretty much says, state powers. And, it's not the federal government that created these 50 states. It's we the people of, the original colonies and now these 50 states that empowered this federal government. But they think they're like imperial masters. And we're their slaves. Just like that pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. It represents the slavery of Babylon. Ladies and gentlemen. New World Order. It's right there in Latin for all these, freaks on NBC. Novus Ordo Seclorum. New world, new secular order. Secular as in the dark side, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to leave it there for this broadcast. Be sure to check out our website, stfnreport.com, for the latest updates. And, send us messages on Twitter if you want to get in touch. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.